Radhe Radhe, Dandavat Pranam. Welcome to Shri Radha Bihari Mandir, Shri Vrindavan Dham, Srila Gurudev Ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Rupanuga Gauriya Guruvarga Ki Jai, Patit Pavana Shri Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai, Prem Purushottam Shachinandana Gaura Hari Ki Jai, Radha Bihari Ju Ki Jai, Radha Ramana Ju Ki Jai, Giriraj Mahārāja Ki Jai, Harinama Sankirtana Ki Jai, Hare Krishna Mahamantra Ki Jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Shri Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bo. Dandava Pranam, all Vaishnavas.
Oh, Swastika, I love your art. The new art that you did, it's so beautiful. The Matila art. I love it. Dandava Pranam, all Vaishnavas. Radhe Radhe.
Do you want to explain what's going on here?
There's a ball of flashing light. Well, you can do it after when everyone comes because you don't want to keep announcing. We'll explain the flashing ball of light. Jane Alice. Jane's like, what is the sparkling thing? Actually, let me just do this real quick. Can you see it better?
Let's see. 4, 3, 2, and... Wait, did the lights go off? There we go.
Since they're asking, we'll have to tell everyone again. But the sparkling round ball thing is a gift from Sudevi and the new Krishna, the cow people.
The Pure Cow Seva team.
The Pure Cow Seva. They went to the Kumbh Mela last night and did kirtan. And they picked up this sparkly, round, flickering
Give me the
ball.
It's kind of like a club.
As a gift for Thakurji.
It's kind of like a club. It's like Hanuman's club.
Anyway, we thought Thakurji would like it, and it makes it a little bit more Indian, yeah?
Yes, definitely. You can't live in India without having something sparkly and glittery. It's like Christmas every day here.
So we'll probably have to explain it again when other devotees show up, but that's what it is. It's a sparkling ball of fun.
Jai. So, we will begin with Mangalacharan. See, the people from India for sure love it. I know that. Because India is like, everything is maximum. It's maximum color, maximum volume, maximum flavor, maximum lights, maximum happiness. Also when suffering comes, it's also maximum. Everything is maximum. And Bhakti is also maximum. So now we're going to start with Mangalacharan. That is the maximum of prayer, calling from our Gurudev, all of our Gurus and our Guru Varga, through Sri Nityananda Prabhu, Mahaprabhu, all the way to the topmost Guru, who is Krishna, and his Prem Guru, Srimati Radhika. We will call to them for their mercy, their grace, their presence, their benevolence, and their sidelong glances. Bandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam. And Jiva Pavana Prabhu has already posted it there. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavāścha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvetam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Om Ajnanatimmirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय राधिकाय प्रियात्मने श्रीमद्भक्तिवेदान्त नारायणीति नामिने श्रीकृष्णलीलाकथने सुदाक्षम् औदर्यमाधुर्यगुणश्च युक्तं वरं वरेण्यं पुरुषं महान्तं नारायणं त्वां शिरसा नमामि। त्रिदन्दिनं भक्तशिरोमणिं च श्रीकृष्णपादाभ्युदितैकहृदे चैतन्यलीलामृतसारसारं नारायणं त्वां सततं प्रपद्ये। नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। नमो विष्णुपादाय गौरप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमद्भक्तिप्रज्ञान केशवयति नामिने अतिमर्त्यचरित्राय स्वश्रितानां च पालिने जीवदुःखे सदर्पाय श्रीनाम प्रेमदायिने। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिसिद्धान्त सरस्वतीति नामिने श्रीवर्षभानवी देवी दैहिकाय कृपाभये कृष्णसम्बन्धविज्ञान दैने प्रभवे नमः। माधुर्योज्ज्वलप्रेमाख्य श्रीरूपानुगभक्तिदा श्रीगौरकरुणाशक्ति विग्रहाय नमोऽस्तुते। नमस्ते गौरवाणी श्रीमूर्तये दिनतारिणे रूपानुगविरुद्धाप सिद्धान्तध्वन्तहारिणे। नमो गौरकिशोराय साक्षात् वैराग्यमूर्तये विप्रलम्भरसम्बोधे पदम्बुजायते नमः। नमो भक्तिविनोदाय सच्चिदानन्दनामिने गौरशक्तिस्वरूपाय रूपानुगव्वरायते गौराविर्भावभूमेस्त्वं निर्देष्टा सजनप्रिय वैष्णव सार्वभौम श्री जगन्नाथाय ते नमः। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्यः च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकाकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। जयतां सुरतो पङ्गो मम मन्दं मतिर्गति मत्सर्वस्वपदम्बोजो राधामदनमोहनो दिव्यवृन्दारत्य kalpadrumado Śrīmad Ratnagara Singhāsanastho Śrī Radha Śrīla Govinda Devo Preshthānibhi Sevyamano Smarami Śrīmandra Sarasarambhi Vaṅśhivattattatastitaha Karshanyenu Svanargopi Gopinatha Shriyestunaha Vrindaye Tulasi Devyai Priyayai Keshavasya Cha Krishna Bhakti Prade Devi Satyavratai Namo Namaha Panchatattvaatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupasvarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhaktashaktikam Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Cheto Darpanamarjanam Bhava Mahādāvagni Nirvapanam Shreya Kairava Chandrika Vitaranam Vidyavadhu Jivanam Anandam Budhivardhanam Pratipadam Purnamritashvadanam Sarvatma Snapanam Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam Harer Nama Harer Nama Harer Nameva Kevalam Kalo Nastyeva 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 Gatiranyatha Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama sorry Rama Rama Hare Hare Dandavat Pranam, all Vaishnavas. So we're going to begin with calling out the mercy and grace of Shri Gurudev. I just realized the other day I played it in a different key. And I'm happy to say that it's good from time to time. Excuse me.
Are you okay?
Yeah, my ring wasn't coming off. My hand's a little bit swollen. Okay. So, for those of you who want to know, in case you came a little late, Radhe Radhe Bhanumati Govinda Rupini. So that flashing balloon kind of thing, that was given to us for Thakurji by Sudevi and Anup from Pure Cow Seva. They went to Kumbh Mela last night during a Harinam Sankirtan party and brought that back. And we figured, you know, it really makes everything authentic. So... Yes, Thakurji needs a flashing ball of light. Jai Jai Shri Guru Prema Kalpataru, page 29 in our Gaudiya Giti Gucha. Hare Krishna. Sudevi, can you open the curtains here so that when the light goes out, it stays a little light? Thank you. Jayo Jayo Shri Guru Prema Kalpataru Jaya Jaya Shri Guru Prema Kalpataru Adbhuta Jako Parakash Adbhuta Jako Parakash Iyayo Keyam Timiravaro Gyam Iyayo Chachi deyalo harina duramati agati shatatoya sate mati duramati agati satatoya mati nahi sukriti lavanesh nahi sukriti lavanesh Shri Vrindavana Jugala Bhajano Dhano Shri Vrindavana Jugala Bhajano Dhano Tahe Karolo Upadesh Tahe Jagajano Ashpuralo Jagajano Śrīla Gurudev ki jai, Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai, Rupanuga Guru Varga ki jai, Shri Guru Parampara ki jai. Now we will call out for the mercy of the Vaishnavas. Kripa Karo Vaishnava Thakur by Srila Bhaktivedānta Thakur, page 40. Sudevi? Oh, I thought it was frozen. It is frozen. On my thing. It's okay. It's not frozen on the original. I don't think.
No, it's not.
Okay.
Strawberries.
Strawberries? Where? Okay. Dandava Pranama Vaishnavas. Kripa Karo Vaishnava Thakura. Kripa Karo Vaishnava Thakura. Kripa Karo Vaishnava Thakura. Kripa Karo Vaishnava Thakura. Sambandha janiya bhajite bhajite abhimano haudura. Sambandha janiyo bhajite bhajite abhimano haudura. Kripa Karo Vaishnava Thakura. Kripa Karo Vaishnava Thakura. Amito Vaishnava e buddhi hoile amani na hoboyami. Amito Vaishnava e buddhi hoile amani na hoboyami. Pratishtha shoyasi hridoya dushive. Pratishtha shoyasi hridoya dushive hoibo nirayogami. Hoibo nirayogami. Tomaro kinkaro yapone janibo guru yabhimano tyaji. Tomaro kinkaro yapone janibo guru yabhimano tyaji. Tomaro yuchishta pada jala renu. Tomaro yuchishta pada jala renu. Sada nishkapate bhaji. Sada nishkapate bhaji. It's gone. Nije shrestha jani uchishtha didani hobe abhimano bharo. Nije shrestha jani uchisthadi dane hobe abhimano bharo tai shishya togo থাকিয়া সর্বদা তাই শিষ্য তব থাকিয়া সর্বদা নালইব পূজা কারো নালইব পূজা কারো অমানি মানদ হইলে কীর্তনে অধিকার দিলে তুমি অমানি মানদ হইলে কীর্তনে অধিকার দিলে তুমি তোমার চরণে নিষ্কপতে আমি তোমার চরণে নিষ্কপতে আমি কাঁদিয়ালু দিব ভূমি কাঁদিয়ালু দিব ভূমি কৃপা করো বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর কৃপা করো বৈষ্ণব জয় বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর জয় বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর জয় বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর জয় বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর জয় বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর জয় বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর প্রভু কৃপা করো মোরে দয়া করো 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 All Vaishnava Thakurs ki jai. A lot of devotees are saying it's very choppy. Do you know if it's running off the normal internet or the...
I don't know.
I'll check. One moment. If it's running, if it's streaming from the...
I just got on and it's very tough, so it must be on the...
We will check it. 1 second. Bear with me.
And it'll go off every time.
Yeah. Let's see if we can figure this out. What to do?
I can't even get on.
Radhe Radhe. So I know that there's some difficulty with the main internet, but this is not running off of that. So maybe there's some crowding. Hare Krishna. What to do? Oops, sorry. Now we will call for the mercy of Śrīla Rupa Gosvāmī Pad. Shuniyachi Sadhumuke Bole Sarvajan, page 51. Jiva Pavan Prabhu was saying it could be the flashy light thing.
You think?
Well, maybe it's giving the illusion of being choppy.
Alright, I'll turn it off. Maybe Thakurji doesn't want the flashy light thing. Let's see if that helps. Should I just keep it on?
It shouldn't make a difference.
Anyway.
Okay.
Let's see if that works.
Maybe it's creating some kind of aberration.
It's so exciting.
By the way, I'm going to announce it now, and then we'll announce it later, and maybe later. Tomorrow we will not be here. We will start elsewhere, outside, in any secret location at 3:00 p.m. Vrindavan time, which is 2 hours earlier than our usual time. We will start at that time. So we welcome you to join us at that time. Hopefully it doesn't create too much of any disruption for any of you. Okay, page 51, Shuniyachi sadhumuke bole sarvajan. I think the entire world's internet is glitchy right now. By Śrīla Narottam Das Thakur. And it froze. Definitely not here, it's still going. So definitely the internet in Spain is not working. Shuniyachi sadhu mukhe bole sarvajano. Shuniyachi sadhu mukhe bole sarvajano. Shri Rupa kripayo mile jugala charano. Shri Rupa kripayo mile jugala charano. Ha ha Prabhu Sanatana Gora parivaro. Ha ha Prabhu Sanatana Gora parivaro. Sabe mili Vacha purno koro hoya amaro. Sabe mili Vacha purno koro hoya amaro. Shri Rupera kripa jeno ama prati hoyo. Shri Rupera kripa jeno ama prati hoyo. Se padaya shroyo jar se mahashoyo. Se pada ashroyo jar se mahashoyo. Prabhu lokanatho kabe sange loiya jabe. Prabhu lokanatho kabe sange loiya jabe. Shri Rupera pado padme more samarpibe. Shri Rupera pado padme more samarpibe. Heno ki hoibe moro dharma sakhi gane. Heno ki hoibe moro dharma sakhi gane. Anugatta narotame koribe shasane. Anugatta narotame koribe shasane. Shuniyachi sadhu mukhe bole sarvajano. Shuniyachi sadhu mukhe bole sarvajano. Shri Rupa kripayo mile jugala charano. Shri Rupa kripayo mile jugala charano. Rupa Gosvāmī Prabhu Rupa Gosvāmī. 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 Rupa Sanātana Jai Rupa Sanātana. Rupa Sanātana Jai Rupa Sanatan, Jai Rupa Sanatan, Rupa Sanatan, Rupa Sanatan, Jai Rupa Sanatan. Prabhu hai, 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 Prabhu hai. Shri Rupa Goswami Pad ki jai, Shri Sat Goswami Prabhu ki jai, Shri Rupanuga Gauriya Guru Varga ki jai. Okay. Now we will call out for the mercy, the grace, the shelter, and the loving embrace of Shri Nityananda Prabhu. Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki jai. Ananda Kanda Nitai Chanda, Aruna Nayana Karuna Chanda by Sri Radha Vallabh Das, page 62. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda O Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ananda Kanda Nitai Chanda Aruna Nayana Karuna Chanda Ananda Kanda Nitai Chanda Aruna Nayana Karuna Chanda Karuna Pura Saghane Jhura Karuna Pura Saghane Jhura Hari Hari Dhvani Bolo Re Hari Hari Dhvani Bolo Re Bhakata Sangha Vividha Bhasho Rasa Taranga Ishato Haso Madhura Bhasho Ishato Haso Madhura Bhasho Saghane Gima Dolore Saghane Gima Dolore Patita Kora Japata Gaura Patita Kora Japata Gaura Dino Rajani Ananda Bhora Patita Kora Japata Gaura Dino Rajani Ananda Bhora Prema Ratana Koriya Jatana Prema Ratana Koriya Jatana Jagajane Karu Taro Re Jagajane Karu Taro Re Jagajane Karu Taro Re Jagajane Karu Taro Re Kirtan Majo Rasika Rajo Kirtan Majo Rasika Rajo Jai Chano Kanaiya Giri Virajo Kirtan Majo Rasika Rajo Jai Chano Kanaiya Giri Virajo Braja Viharo Rasa Vitharo Braja Viharo Rasa Vitharo Madhura Madhura Ganore Madhura Madhura Ganore Dhuli Dhusaro Dharani Upara Dhuli Dhusaro Dharani Upara Kabahu Luthato Preme Gara Gara Dhuli Dhusaro Dharani Upara Kabahu Luthato Preme Gara Gara Kabahu Chalata Kabahu Khelata Kabahu Chalata Kabahu Khelata Kabahu Ata Asare Kabahu Ata Asare Kabahu Seda Kabahu Kheda Kabahu Seda Kabahu Kheda Kabahu Pulaka Swara Vibheda Kabahu Sveda Kabahu Kheda Kabahu Pulaka Swara Vibheda Kabahu Lampha Kabahu Jhampa Kabahu Lampha Kabahu Jhampa Kabahu Dirgha Swasare Kabahu Dirgha Swasare
Akhila Bandhu Karuna Sindhu Akhila Bandhu Kali Juga Tama Purana Indu Karuna Sindhu Akhila Bandhu Kali Juga Tama Purana Indu Jagatalochana Patala Mochana Jagatalochana Patala Mochana Nitai Purano Ashare Nitai Purano Ashare Nitai Purano Ashare Nitai Purano Ashare Andhaya Dhama Dinadura Jana Andhaya Dhama Dinadura Jana Premodane Karolo Mochana Andha Adhama Dinadura Jana Premodane Karolo Mochana Aula Jagato Kevala Vanchito Paula Jagato Kevala Vanchito E Radha Vallabha Dasare E Radha Vallabha Dasare E Radha Vallabha Dasare Radha Vallabha Dasare Ananda Kanda Nitai Chanda Aruna Nayana Karuna Chanda Ananda Kanda Nitai Chanda Aruna Nayana Karuna Chanda Karuna Pura Saghane Jhura Karuna Pura Saghane Jhura Hari Hari Dhvani Bolo Re 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 Nityananda Ram Jai Nityananda Ram Nityananda Ram Jai Nityananda Ram Jaya Nityananda Ram Jai Nityananda Ram Nityananda Ram Jai Nityananda Ram Nitai He Gaur He Nitai He Gaur He Nitai He Gaur He Nitai He Gaur He Tatit Pavan Shri Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai Prem Purushottam Shachinandana Gaur Hari Ki Jai. And now we will call out for the mercy, the grace, and the blessings of Śrī Satyananda Gosvāmī. Emon Sachira Nandana Bine by Srila Premananda Das Thakur, page 70. 70. This song, this bhajan, is based on a verse written by Srila Prabodhananda Saraswati in Chaitanya Chandramrita, beginning Prema Namad Bhutartha. Emon Shachira Nandana Bine 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 Shachira Nandana Sachiranandana Bine Sachiranandana Bine Prema Bolina Ati Adhuta Shruta Haito Karo Prema Bolina Ati Adhuta Shruto Hoito Karo Kane Emo Sachiranandana Bine Emo Sachiranandana Bine Emo Sachiranandana Bine Sachiranandana Bine Shri Krishna Namero Svaguna Mahima Eba Jarayito Yaro Shri Krishna Namero Svaguna Mahima Eba Jarayito Yaro Vrindavipine Mahamadhurima Vrindavipine Mahamadhurima Pravesha Hoito Karo Pravesha Hoito Karo Eba Janayito Radharo Madhurya Rasa Jasha Chamatkaro Eba Janayito Radharo Madhurya Rasa Jasha Chamatkaro Taroyanubhav Satvika Vikar Taroyanubhav Satvika Vikar Gochara Chiro Vakaro বিচার ছিল বা কারো এমন সচির নন্দন বিনে এমন সচির নন্দন বিনে এমন সচির নন্দন বিনে সচির নন্দন বিনে ব্রজে যে বিলাস রাস মহারাস প্রেম পরকীয় তত্ত্ব ব্রজে যে বিলাস রাস মহারাস প্রেম পরকীয়া তত্ত্ব গোপীর মহিমা ব্যভিচারী সীমা গোপীর মহিমা ব্যভিচারী সীমা কারয় অবগতি ছিল এ তো কারয় অবগতি ছিল এ তো ধন্য কলি ধন্য নিতাই চৈতন্য পরম করুণা করি ধন্য কলি ধন্য নিতাই চৈতন্য পরম করুণা করি বিধিয় গোচর যে প্রেম বিকার বিধিয় গোচর যে প্রেম বিকার প্রকাশে জগত ভরি প্রকাশে জগত ভরি এমন সচির নন্দন বিনে সচির নন্দন বিনে এমন সচির নন্দন বিনে সচির নন্দন বিনে উত্তময় ধম কিছু না বাছিল যাচিয়া দিলে কপোল উত্তম অধম কিছু না বাছিল যাচিয়া দিলে কপোল কহে প্রেমানন্দে আমর গৌরাঙ্গে কহে প্রেমানন্দে আমর গৌরাঙ্গে অন্তরে ধরিয়া দোল অন্তরে ধরিয়া দোল এমন সচির নন্দন বিনে এমন সচির নন্দন সচির নন্দন বিনে সচির নন্দন বিনে এমন সচির নন্দন বিনে এমন সচির নন্দন বিনে সচিনন্দন জয় গৌর হরি জয় সচিনন্দন জয় গৌর হরি জয় সচিনন্দন জয় গৌর হরি জয় সচিনন্দন জয় গৌর হরি গৌর হে গৌর হে গৌর হে Sachinandana Gaur Hari Ki Jai. Radhe Radhe, Dandavat Pranam, all Vaishnavas. For us here today is Vijaya Ekadashi. Ekadashi. Vijaya means victory. So the Ekadashi, which will help us to attain victory over Maya, victory over our minds, victory over our material intelligence, victory over our material senses and our false egos. What is that victory? Param Vijayate. Vijay. That is the same word. Vijaya Ekadashi, Vijayate. Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. So today, on Ekadashi day, we always sing Shuddha Bhakata Charana Renu Bhajana Anukul. Okay, it's Ekadashi there too. Great. Sometimes, according to the Titi, the transcendental time period, how and where it manifests, that is according to Ekadashi Devi's sweet will. And as Srila Gurudev Bhaktivedānta Nārāyaṇa Gosvāmī Mahārāja followed, wherever he was traveling around the world, he taught by his own example as Acharya. And so we, as his followers, should follow the example, the precepts that he set. And so when Ekadashi manifested in Australia, he would follow according to the local time there, the Titi, the transcendental time period where Ekadashi manifested. When Ekadashi manifested in England, then he would follow according to that time, or in California or Florida or New York or Vrindavan or Navadvip. And he insisted on a calendar being made with separate timings from Navadvip and Vrindavan. And in fact, even the pure bhakti calendar is slightly different from the calendar which Srila Gurudev followed in Vrindavan. He had Amal Krishna Prabhu make that calendar. And Srila Gurudev has stated that even if there is some slight defect, then I will take personal responsibility. But this does not mean that everything is defective. There might be some mistake, but Gurudev wanted the calendar to be made.
Usually it's just like with the para, maybe 5 minutes.
Yeah, maybe if there's like a break fast time, which is paran. Paran means the time when you're supposed to break the fast, and there's some 2 or 3 minutes differential. There might be something like that. So we just kind of try to keep it within the timing. Our Srila Gurudev was very particular about parans, the time to break the fast, because that's part of the vrat, part of the honoring of that day, is when to receive and when to allow them to leave. In the same way as any guest would come to your home and they have another appointment elsewhere, then we don't keep them over their time. They need to go, so then we allow them to go within the allotted time, which is part of the respect. So today Ekadashi has come. We have welcomed Shri Ekadashi Devi into our lives, and tomorrow morning for us she will go to the next location to give mercy to those persons who require it in the next location. So our Srila Gurudev was very particular about this. What message, Isha Thakurani? Very strange, I see the message come first and more after your speaking. Yes, there might be a delay in the timing of the video, but the message, the writing might show up first because text moves more quickly than video. So Shuddha Bhakata Charana Renu Bhajana Anukul. Sometimes Ekadashi manifests according to the same Titi in many different places in the world. And for those of you who don't understand what a Titi is, it's a time period. It's dependent on the position or the sun and the moon, the position of the sun and the moon. If the Ekadashi day starts after the sun rises, then it is considered an impure time period. According to Hari Bhakti Vilas, then you have to start Ekadashi the following day when it is still within the pure time period, or that tithi. You cannot follow an impure vrat. That's why they have something called Mahadvadashi. If it's impure and then it's followed on the next day, the Dwadashi, then it's a Mahadvadashi. So Ekadashi starts in the next day. Same with all of our Vishnu Tattva holy days. For Krishna, Ram, Narasingha, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, if the time period of that vrat comes after the sunrise, then you start following the next day when it's still within the pure time period, even if there's only 2 minutes left in the next day. But this is the instruction of Shastra and the instruction given in Hari Bhakti Vilas and instituted by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. So we follow like that. Page 216, Shuddha Bhakata Charana Renu Bhajana Anukul. Shuddha Bhakata Charana Renu Bhajana Anukula. Shuddha Bhakata Charana Renu Bhajana Anukula. Bhakata Seva Paramo Siddhi Premalati Karamula. Bhakata Seva Paramo Siddhi Premalati Karamula. Shuddha Bhakata Charana Renu Bhajana Anukula. Shuddha Bhakata Charana Renu Bhajana Anukula. Madhavati Thi Bhakti Janani Jatane Palana Kori. Madhavati Thi Bhakti Janani Jatane Palana Kori. Krishna Vasati Vasati Boli Paramayadare Bori. Krishna Vasati Vasati Boli Paramayadare Bori. Gaurayama Je Sabasthane Karala Brahmana Range. Gaurayama Je Sabasthane Karala Brahmana Range. Se Sabasthano Heri Boyami Pranayi Bhakata Sange. Se Sabasthano Heri Boyami Pranayi Bhakata Sange. Mridanga Vajyo Shunite Mana Avasara Sada Jache. Mridanga Vajyo Shunite Mana Avasara Sada Jache. Gaura Vihito Kirtana Shuni Anande Hridayo Nache. Gaura Vihito Kirtana Shuni Anande Hridayo Nache. Jugala Murti Dekhiya Moro Paramayananda Hoya. Jugala Murti Dekhiya Moro Paramayananda Hoya. Prasado Seva Korite Hoyo Sakala Prapancha Jayo. prasado seva korite hoyo sakala prapancha jayo jedin grihe bhajan dekhi grihete golok bhayo jedin grihe bhajan dekhi grihete golok bhayo charan sidhu dekhiya ganga sukona sima payo charan sidhu dekhiya ganga sukona sima payo tulasi dekhi jurayo prano madhava toshani jani tulasi dekhi jurayo prano madhava toshani jani gaura priya shako sevone jivan sarthak mani gaura priya shako sevone jivan sarthak mani bhakti vinod krishna bhajane anukula payo jaha bhakti vinod krishna bhajane anukula payo jaha prati divase param sukhe svikara koro yetaha prati divase param sukhe svikara koro yetaha shuddha bhakta charana renu bhajanayanu kula shuddha bhakta charana renu bhajanayanu kula bhakta seva parama siddhi premalati karamula bhakta seva parama siddhi premalati karamula shuddha bhakta charana renu bhajanayanu kula shuddha bhakta charana renu bhajanayanu kula madhavati bhakti janani jatane palana kori madhavati bhakti janani jatane palana kori ekadashi tithi bhakti janani jatane palana kori ekadashi tithi bhakti janani basati boli parama yadare boli Krishna basati boli parama yadare boli jai madhavati ti jai ekadashi madhavati ti jai ekadashi jai 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 madhavati ti jai ekadashi madhavati ti jai ekadashi Śrī Madhavati ti ekadashi ki jai. So this bhajan by Srila Bhaktivedānta Thakur is sung by all Gaudiya Vaishnavas on this day, the day of Ekadashi. Specifically in the second verse it says Madhavatiti. This means the days of the Lord, the days of Lord Hari, Madhava. But This is referring to Janmashtami, Narasingha Chaturdashi, Shri Gaurpurnima Mahamahotsava, and so many other days, but also Ekadashi, who is a direct manifestation from the form of Krishna out of his compassion and mercy for the suffering jivas in hell. Hearing their cries, hearing their suffering, he felt compassion, which is natural for him. It is his function, one of his eternal intrinsic functions, to feel compassion and to then thereby give mercy. So from that feeling of compassion, hearing those pitiful cries, a beautiful divine form manifested from his own transcendental form. And that form is known as Ekadashi, Ekadashi Devi, who comes to us in the form of time. That time period is basically like the embrace, the merciful embrace of Krishna throughout the entire day, all around you, in every aspect. And so within this bhajan, you see all of the favorable things that one can and should do on Ekadashi. And every single day, but especially on Ekadashi. Why? Because on Ekadashi, if you do anything that is favorable for bhakti, it is multiplied thousands of times. Now here we have the word prema latikara mool, the term that serving the Vaishnavas brings the highest perfection, and that is the root of prema lata, the creeper of divine love and affection for Krishna. So within this, it has this term mool also within the definition of what is the qualification for Krishna Bhakti Ras. There it says tatra lolyam api moolyam ekalam. The word mool is also there. Mool means root. So if the root qualification is greed, and here it is saying how that root qualification comes by serving the Vaishnavas, then we know that greed can come by that. And greed also would mean that if I know that there are shortcuts, if I know that instead of taking 10 years to multiply my income in a very slow way at 0.5%, if I just put it in at 10% over 1 year, I can make it very quickly, then that is a symptom of greed. I want to increase my wealth. So in the case of bhakti, I want to increase my inclination to serve, to love, and to devote my everything to Krishna. Then I will take advantage of this day Ekadashi to multiply my spiritual wealth. It multiplies my sukriti massively. And then by doing all of these transcendental activities, taking shelter of the pure devotees, serving the pure devotees, taking the dust from their feet, Shuddha Bhakata Charana Renu Bhajana Anukul. That really means following their instructions and applying them in our lives. And also dust. But here it is said, these days, like Ekadashi and Janmashtami, but especially Ekadashi, which is considered more merciful than Janmashtami because Ekadashi manifests every 2 weeks to give us an opportunity, to give us a chance to remember, to diagnose ourselves. How far have I come on the path of bhakti? How much have I done to serve Krishna? Or how much have I slackened in my service to Krishna? So every 2 weeks, Ekadashi is coming. And our Srila Gurudev said we should very, very carefully observe Ekadashi. So knowing when Ekadashi is coming, knowing when Ekadashi is going, observing and following properly. And our Gurudev showed by his own example and taught his disciples likewise. So if he were next to us, we should do as he would be doing. That would be symptomatic of a disciple, not running around him, jumping over him, or circumventing him in this way or that way. But if he's sitting next to me, then how would he do it? What would I do? Would I be eating grains when he's fasting on Ekadashi? No. He would consider this offensive to Krishna, aparad, against affection to Krishna. Why are you doing this? Beside the fact that anyone's service to Krishna, including following Ekadashi, will have no merit or no fruit if it isn't offered through the medium of Shri Guru. First of all, follow. Surrender to Shri Guru. Pratamam tu Gurum Pujam. Then you can do bhakti. Krishna will accept your service. Otherwise, like our Srila Gurudev said, and we quoted yesterday, what will the result of our Ekadashi be? Karma at best. Karma means bhakti won't come. So to be under the shelter of Guru, first and foremost, Guru Nishtha is the backbone of bhakti. From that perspective, whatever activity we do on the path of bhakti will then be considered possibly offerable to Krishna, including our service to Ekadashi, this form of Krishna's mercy. So following very carefully under the guidance of Sri Guru, this is Jatane Palana Kori. Very carefully upholding this vrat with great honor, with great respect, but understanding that this is a process of bhakti. And bhakti, by its nature, must be anugatya, under guidance. So, being under guidance, that means it must be in the shelter of Sri Guru. And then, whatever we do will be offerable or receivable by Krishna. So here, Krishna Basati, Basati Bori. Krishna dwells in these holy days. Krishna resides within those holy days. And Parama Adare Bori, I also will accept these days as my residence. That means, like on any other day, we might be a little bit weak. But when the holy days come, we put a lot more attention to Krishna. So instead of living our life like that, we should try to put all of our life as if every day is a holy day. Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Gosvāmī Mahārāja, he had told that every day when he reaches for his japa mala, he sees that he's receiving it from the hand of his Guru Mahārāja, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, on the day of his initiation. With the same enthusiasm and urgency and excitement and hopefulness that he has received that japa mala from his Gurudev on the day of initiation, every single day until he was 103 years old. When he would reach for his mala, he would see it coming from the hand of his Gurudev on his initiation day. And with that kind of intention, with that kind of enthusiasm and urgency and hopefulness, he would begin to serve Sri Harinam Prabhu. So we have such an opportunity with Ekadashi that we should endeavor to utilize all of our energy to the best of our capacity in the service of Krishna, Hari Guru Vaishnavas. And we should also try to avoid any nishid achar, means all kinds of activities which are not favorable for bhakti. Ekadashi works like an amplifier. Whatever you do favorable for bhakti is multiplied thousands of times. Whatever you do that is unfavorable for bhakti or against bhakti, against Hari Guru Vaishnavas, or aparad is also multiplied thousands of times. So avoid all things which are negative, which are unfavorable. Follow the simple guidelines. How to serve Krishna. Krishna has told it himself. So what our Guru Varga have given us, this is what you do to follow Ekadashi. Why are they telling us that? Because Krishna has given the guidelines. Do this, do that. Don't do this, don't do that. This is how you can please me on Ekadashi, how you can serve me. So we follow those guidelines as given by our Gurudev and our Guru Varga, and by that we can have hope for the increase of our Bhakti Sukriti. Here, Bhakti Janani, Ekadashi and these days of the Lord, they give rise, they give birth and nourishment. Like a mother gives nourishment to her baby through her milk, following Ekadashi, following these holy days, with great care and attention, they also give nourishment to our Bhakti Creeper. Ekadashi is therefore known as the mother of devotion, Bhakti Janani. So if you don't know what to do on Ekadashi, just look at this bhajan. Serve the pure Vaishnavas. What? Sudevi, she said, don't eat shak. Shak means leafy green vegetables. Although here it says shaka sevane, but that's Gaurapriya. What is near and what is dear to Gauranga is Shaka Sevane. So for Gauranga, maybe we can serve it, but not when he's with Nityananda Prabhu in Sadak Bhav. We should not give him anything which is grains on Ekadashi when he's in Sadak Bhav. Greens aren't grains, but we don't take shak on Ekadashi. This is important. Now, sometimes, depending on how you're seeing him, if you're seeing him directly as Krishna, then it's okay. Krishna does not have to follow the rules like we have to follow them. He makes the rules. We follow the rules. Srimati Radhika doesn't need to follow the rules. She makes them. We follow them. But you can serve grains to Krishna, Srimati Radhika. You can serve grains to Thakurji on Ekadashi, but you should not take them yourself. And Mahaprabhu gave the example himself when offered Jagannath Mahaprasad in Puri, Jagannath Puri Dham. It was Ekadashi day and they offered him Mahaprasad, Jagannath Mahaprasad, full of grains and beans and everything else. And technically, according to Shastra, one should immediately honor Mahaprasad when it is presented to them, according to Shastra. But Mahaprabhu wanted to show by his own example. He is Jagat Guru, Guru of the whole universe. By his own example, how one should not take grains on Ekadashi, because if they do so, they might not be of the proper caliber of mind. They will be looking at it with the mood of enjoyment, and the result can be negative or detrimental for their bhakti. If one takes grains on Ekadashi, it is basically considered to be very, very, very bad. You get all kinds of negative results for that. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, what did he do when the Mahaprasad came before him? He didn't take it. He began to glorify it. He did parikrama of it. He did kirtan all night, glorifying Mahaprasad, offering pranam. And in the morning, when the time was there to break paran, then he accepted that Mahaprasad. So he's teaching us. For him, there would be no negative effect, because he understands that it is completely transcendental. But when we look at Mahaprasad, how do we look at it? Yum! I want to eat that. I want to enjoy it. So instead of having the completely transcendental effect, just like Harinam, we're not approaching Harinam with the pure mood, so we're not experiencing Shuddhanam. We read yesterday, what is the result of Namaparad? The increase of Kanaka, desire for wealth, Kamini, desire for sense gratification, and Pratishta, desire for name and fame. Mahaprasade Govinde, Mahaprasad is also non-different from Krishna, which is also non-different from Ekadashi. In other words, how you approach Krishna, he reciprocates. So if you're approaching him with a mood of enjoyment, then you get enjoyment, not bhakti. So how should one approach Krishna? That is why our Gurudev gave so much emphasis to this definition of bhakti given by Rupa Goswami and our Param Gurudev also. Anya bhilashita shunyam jnana karma dhyanavritam anukulyena krishnanu shilanam bhaktir uttama. First two lines are telling what is not bhakti. Anya abhilashita. Without or being devoid of any other desire. And so forth. Shunya means devoid of. Jnana, karma, adi, anavritam. Jnana means knowledge aimed at impersonal liberation. Into the white light. To basically become one. Knowledge which brings you toward that. Karma. Worshipping the Lord, but with the desire for material things. When you go to the temple, you put 10 rupees and you say, please give me a house, please give me health and wealth and a beautiful wife and a beautiful husband and children and all of these things. This means I'm approaching Bhagavan, I'm approaching the Lord, but with a heart full of material desires. That is called karma mishra bhakti. It's bhakti in one sense, but it is mixed with fruit of desire. Sakam bhakti. Like Dhruva Maharaj, we told the other day. So he had a heart full of material desires and he was praying to the Lord with that heart full of material desires. Karma mishra bhakti. Pure bhakti is devoid of those things. Jnana, karma, adi, and so forth. All of the other things that we kind of take to be bhakti, which aren't necessarily really bhakti. Maybe because it kind of comes from India. So it's an Indian thing, but maybe it's not bhakti. A lot of things in India are not bhakti. But sometimes people make the mistake and think, oh, it's Indian, so it's bhakti. No. Bhakti is bhakti, and it is not bound by any external material culture. It is not bound by it. Bhakti is independent, and bhakti can manifest in the heart of any person anywhere who is sincere, who wants to give their heart to Krishna. Then Krishna says, Dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayanti te. I will give the understanding by which they can come to me. So you might look and think, oh yeah, if I have a certain kind of furniture, then this is so devotional. If I'm not using the harmonium and the mridanga for the service of Krishna, if I'm not using them in Mahaprabhu's kirtan for the service of Krishna, and instead I'm using them for everything else, then it is not devotional. If I have certain kind of carved wood furniture to make my life more luxurious, mundane, if it's not being utilized in the service of Krishna, then it's not devotional. And also clothing and everything else. What am I doing with it? What is my purpose? So anyabhilashita shunyam jnana karma adi. That includes also yoga, which is aimed at acquiring power. A few stretching and breathing exercises is one thing, but if your goal of your yoga practice is to become powerful, strong, and to be able to control your environment, to be able to develop mystic siddhis, mystic powers, this will be unfavorable for bhakti, because one cannot then chant the holy names of the Lord in a humble state of mind. They will be thinking, I'm powerful. So it actually works against the soft, simple-heartedness of bhakti that is required to chant the holy names of the Lord. Astrology also, numerology, and all of these other things. I'm putting my faith in all of the demigods. I'm putting my faith in so many other things. And that means I'm taking that amount of faith away from Krishna, Krishna Bhakti, from Tulsi Devi, from all things which are transcendental and favorable to service to Krishna. I'm placing my faith in all other places. So, anyabhilashita shunyam jnana karma adi anavritam. It's not covered by all of these things. Bhakti is anukul, favorable for Krishna. Favorable, a mood that is beneficial for him, and favorable, and kind. Krishna Anushilanam, exclusively for him, for his happiness, for his pleasure, for his benefit. Then all of the activities that we do in bhakti, if we apply that definition to them, then we can understand whether or not we are doing bhakti or something else. If we're observing Ekadashi because we have to, but we're not doing it for the pleasure of Krishna, then it turns out to affect us more like reward-seeking activity. We can get some...
It should be in Mahat Sangha, which means under the umbrella of the conceptions of the Guru Varga.
Srila Gurudev said it should be in Mahat Sangha, means under the umbrella of the conceptions, the moods, the observances of our Guru Varga, and in the association of pure devotees. Make sure you don't just put yoga there. It's yoga with a particular purpose and aim. A little stretching here and there. Like our Gurudev would go for morning walks. Prabhupada would go for morning walks. This was not anything unfavorable. We should do what is favorable for us to be able to focus on our bhajan, on bhakti, and avoid what is unfavorable. If we are doing yoga to make our bodies very beautiful, what they call the yoga body, well, then we're putting emphasis on the material body to make it beautiful. If it's just something for a little bit of health and balance, where Krishna says that one cannot do yoga in a state of imbalance, just for balance, That's a different thing. But our Gurudev warned to be careful because people were actually subscribing to a particular kind of yoga which is mentioned in any shastra, which has a particular goal. And that goal is the attainment of mystic powers. And those mystic powers bring one to have this mood of being the controller. And to develop bhakti, one has to be in the exact opposite mood, that I am not the controller, I am the servant of the servant of the servant. Trinadapi sunichena tarorapi suhishnuna amanina amanadena kirtaniya sadahari. Being more tolerant than a tree. Feeling oneself more lowly than a blade of grass in the street. Giving all respect to others, especially Srila Bhaktivedānta Saraswati Prabhupada said this means Hari, Guru and Vaishnavas. And expecting no honor or respect for oneself. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy names of the Lord constantly. So, Anukulyena Krishna Anushilanam Bhaktir Uttama. What is pure bhakti? Anu also means in the guidance of pure devotees. Without that, bhakti cannot flow. Bhakti must be under their guidance. And it must be favorable for Krishna, for his happiness, his pleasure, his benefit. Then when we do Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atma Nivedanam, if we have that as its foundation, as the root of all of the activities we do in bhakti, then it might be considered bhakti. If we're just doing it because we're supposed to, or because we get some kind of good benefit for it, but it's not with the intent to serve Krishna for his happiness, pleasure, and benefit, and if it is not under guidance, if the activity we're doing is maybe an activity which is not what our Gurudev wants us to do, we're doing it independently, then also we won't get the result of bhakti. Like I told you, that time I was making cakes in New Braj, and Gurudev was there, and he says in the mic, "Where's Kishori Mohan?" I came out from behind the bamboo curtain. "I'm here, Gurudev." And he said, "Others can do that seva. Your service is to always be here in kirtan." So I took off my apron, I gave it to the next devotee, I told him to check the cakes in half an hour, and I went and sat down in front of Gurudev. And from that day, I was always there in kirtan. Even when he would go on morning walks, if there was a morning bhajan session, Gurudev said, "Your service is to always be here in kirtan." So I wouldn't always go on the morning walks. I would be there doing the kirtan. And I would have to wait for the devotees to tell me what Srila Gurudev spoke about on the morning walks. So always being there at that time, because Gurudev said, "Your service is to always be here in kirtan." So if I was doing that other service, and that other service is not pleasing to Sri Guru, then what benefit will I get? It won't be the benefit of bhakti, but it might be the benefit of everyone saying to me, "Wow, that cake was the most amazing cake I ever had." So it will boost my false ego, right? I will gain name, fame, adoration, maybe sense gratification, but not necessarily bhakti. But if I'm acting in a way that is pleasing to my Gurudev, what does he want me to do? What instruction has he given? And I act in such a way, then my activities on the path of bhakti can bear fruit. Sadhu Sangha, Nam Kirtan. Kirtan must also be under guidance. It must be for the pleasure of Krishna, not because it sounds nice, not because it feels good, not because you get the buzz or feel the bhav or whatever they say. It's not for that purpose. If I'm doing kirtan for that purpose, I'm doing the wrong thing. It's not bhakti, and the result will be material enjoyment, the buzz, the bhav, or whatever we call it, but it won't be bhakti. It won't be devotion to Krishna. So real kirtan is something different. Real kirtan also must be under guidance, and it must be under that umbrella of Mahat Sangha. All of the activities, Shravanam, should be done for pleasing Krishna. Kirtanam should be done for pleasing Krishna. Is it? Sadhu Sangha, Nam Kirtan, Bhagavat Shraman, Mathurava, Srimurtir Shraddhaya Sevan. All of the activities we do should be for pleasing Krishna and under guidance of his pure devotee. Then it can be considered to be developmental for bhakti. And if we really want bhakti, if we have greed for bhakti, then we will apply these principles like a science. You follow this one, you make sure that if I'm saying that this is a symptom of bhakti, I will apply the definition of bhakti to it and check, is it bhakti or not? Is it just for my pleasure? It looks like bhakti because I'm sitting down saying, Sharira Avijajajani. Oh my God, did you see those gulab jamun? Whoa, I can't wait till they come. Oh my God, pizza, like that. And we're looking at it with desire to enjoy, and we're claiming that we're doing bhakti. Did you see how our Srila Gurudev would honor, serve Mahaprasad? He would be alone in his space, in a very meditative mood, serving, doing prasada seva. Here it says, prasada seva, korite hoya sakala prapancha jai. Serving Mahaprasad. This is Krishna in the form of Mahaprasad. So serving it is different than enjoying it. Enjoyment will come as a natural result, but the intention should be to serve Krishna in this form. So first and foremost, apply the principles of bhakti. And Gurudev would say, have no other desire, only to serve and please Krishna. Then do your activities. Otherwise, we will find after 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, well, this process doesn't work. Well, maybe our process doesn't work because we're not applying their process. We're applying our own independent process to the path of bhakti, and then we end up with almost no progress after so many years. And we're like, what happened? Okay, I believe. I like to chant, I like to take prasadam, I like to be with the devotees, I like to do this, I like to do that. Wait a second, it's all about what I like. What about what Krishna likes? What about what Gurudev likes? That's Krishna consciousness. Turn it from what I like, my self-serving tendency, toward serving the transcendental senses of Krishna, doing what is pleasing for Gurudev. Then bhakti will start to increase. And when we change that concept, that mental concept, from what is self-serving toward what is Krishna-serving, then greed will start to increase more and more. Because greed is also not a material thing. It is also a function of transcendence, this intense desire manifesting in the heart. It is also a function of mercy. Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Lata Bij. By the mercy of Gurudev, this inclination, this desire to serve and please Krishna awakens and increases within our heart. Right? Bhakata Seva Paramasiddhi Prema Latikaramu. The root of the creeper of Prem manifests through serving the Vaishnavas, which brings us to the highest perfection. I've told before, but when one is honoring Mahaprasad, at least when Sri Guru is honoring Mahaprasad, it is different than when we do it. They see prasad in a very different way. If you see that bhajan, Bhaja Bhakata Vatsala Shri Gaura Hari, when we're singing it, we're like, Luchi Chini Sar Puri, wow, puris coated in powdered sugar. Oh, I love those, how it poofs and that crispiness when it goes in your mouth. And and we're looking at it for how I'm going to enjoy my senses. When Sri Guru, when the pure Vaishnava is looking at Mahaprasad, they're not looking at it like that. They're seeing how Srimati Radhika is cooking for Krishna. They're also assisting her in cooking for Krishna. 100 stoves. And the heat which is coming from that is so intense, but the heat of her separation from Krishna is so much more intense that the heat from all those fires makes her feel cool. Because she's serving Krishna for his happiness, for his pleasure, for his benefit. Pure bhakti, love and devotion. And then that is presented to Krishna. And as he's tasting it, every mood of her love and affection is transferring to him. As he's tasting that, he's experiencing it. But he also wants to reciprocate. So he'll bite into something and say, send it back to the cook. And then she's receiving that. Yashomati agyape dhanishta anito Shri Krishna prasada radha bhunje hoye prito. So Mother Yashoda is telling Dhanishta, bring this to Radhika. And then when she tastes that, she's experiencing his adharamrit, Mahaprasad. And all of the moods in his heart of reciprocation are transferring back. And then her gopi friends are tasting that. And then their maidservants are tasting that. And then all the way down through our parampara, and then it comes to us. It's a very different story than, yum, let's enjoy this grub, versus let's serve this Mahaprasad. Gurudev said, I have never eaten anything. I only serve Mahaprasad. I've never chanted anything. I serve Sri Harinam Prabhu. In this connection, there's one katha when we go to Pani Ghat, nearby there. The gopis wanted to serve, to bring so many offerings to Durvasa Muni, who was on the other side of Jamuna. But Jamuna was flowing very, very heavy. So they didn't know how to go. And Krishna told them, just when you go there, just tell Jamuna that Krishna is Nitya Brahmachari. Krishna is eternally a Brahmachari. And gopis were like, Krishna is eternally a Brahmachari? But you're always associating with all the gopis, all the girls. How can you be eternally Brahmachari? But all of those gopis are actually manifestations of his own heart. Srimati Radhika is a manifestation of his own heart, and they're all manifestations of her moods and love and affection for him. So this is true to the fullest extent. Krishna is Nitya Brahmachari. And so the gopis went with all of their thousands of offerings and told Jamuna, Krishna is Nitya Brahmachari. And Jamuna opened and allowed them to pass through. They went and offered all of this food stuff to Durvasa Muni. Prasad, to Durvasa. And then they couldn't get back. Durvasa told them, you tell Jamuna, Durvasa never eats anything. We just witnessed Durvasa eat thousands of preparations. And he's saying Durvasa never eats anything. Well, also because he's not eating. He's serving Mahaprasad. It's a different mood. So they came back to Jamuna. Durvasa never eats anything. She opened up. They were able to cross back. So when you understand these deeper considerations, our Srila Gurudev narrated these pastimes to us. Then you understand, yes, serving Mahaprasad, serving Harinam Prabhu, not enjoying Mahaprasad, not enjoying Harinam Prabhu. The natural effect of service with intent to please the object of our love and affection will be joy, will be happiness, will be ecstasy. But if that ecstasy impedes or halts or blocks one's service, then the Vaishnava, the devotee, says, damn that ecstasy, I don't want that which is stopping my service. As the gopis tell to Brahma, what kind of foolish creator are you? When we are serving Krishna with our eyes, our sidelong glances, that's how they worship Krishna. They do arti with their eyes. Then you give us this ecstasy which manifests in the form of tears. What kind of foolish creator are you? Don't you understand? Yugaitam nimeshena chakshusha pravrishayatam. One moment of separation from Krishna feels like millions of yugas. And you've given us these tears which stop us from serving Krishna with our eyes. And on top of that, you've given us eyes that blink so many times every minute. And that one moment feels like millions of yugas in separation. If you were intelligent, you should have made our body full of eyes that never blink and never tear up. Damn those tears and damn that blinking. So when the ecstasy comes, if it stops one's service, then even that is rejectable. So the point of bhakti is not about the experience of bliss and pleasure and all of that as a result of it, although it will come naturally. Joy is a natural byproduct and satisfaction of bhakti, but it is not the intention. if one has to suffer so that Krishna is happy. Ashlishyava pararatam pinashtumam adarshanan marmahatam karotva yata tatava vidhatu lampato mat prananatastu sa eva naparaha. Mahaprabhu is saying in the mood of Srimati Radhika, you can do whatever you like with me. If you want, you can embrace me, or you can embrace another, or you can kick me away for all of eternity, if this is what pleases you. Even if my heart is broken, never mind. If this is what is pleasing to you, this will not change the nature of my love for you. Mat prananatas tu sa eva naparaha. You are always my prananath, the Lord of my very life, and there is no condition to it whatsoever. Bhakti is not a cheap thing. And being under the guidance of Guru and Vaishnavas, we can gradually develop this mood of exclusivity to Krishna for his happiness, his pleasure, and his benefit. It's not about us. It's about him. It's about loving service. What is pleasing, what is beneficial, what is favorable to Krishna. That is bhakti. And under the guidance of Vaishnavas, gradually, we will move away from our selfish, self-serving, independent tendencies and turn more and more toward the transcendental, loving service of Krishna. Let me just check here. I realized I've just been speaking for a while. Make sure. You know, when you offer bhoga to Thakurji, then afterward, then you offer it to Purnamasi, Yogamaya. You offer to first after Thakurji, then you offer to the gopis, then all the manjaris, and Purnamasi, Yogamaya, Gopishwar, then down our Guru Parampara, all the way down. Finally, Om Sarva Vaishnavebhyo Namah, to all Vaishnavas, and then we sit and honor that as Maha Prasad. Means I see that it has been tasted by each personality, and now it's finally coming to me as their remnant, and that actually becomes more and more and more sweet, because by their tasting it, just like the ripened fruit of Śrīmad Bhagavatam, Nigamakalpataror Galitam Palam, Shukamukad Amrita Drava Samyitam, being tasted by Shuka, by the parrot, then that fruit becomes even more sweet. So that prasad is now becoming Mahaprasad, then Mahaprasad, then Mahaprasad, greater and greater. Basically, its potency is increasing exponentially. And then we receive that, and with great honor, with great respect, then we serve Krishna in the form of this Mahaprasad. Mahaprasade Govinde, O Krishna. This is a special form of you. How are you, Krishna, O Mahaprasad? What is going on here that can increase my bhakti? And then remembering the pastimes of the Lord. Srila Gurudev gave us all of these teachings for our spiritual benefit. And we should also apply this mood toward Ekadashi. Not, oh yeah, tomorrow I get French fries, or whatever you call them, chips, or freedom fries. I don't think that stuck very well. Garanga potatoes and curd steaks and whatever. Tomorrow I'm having fruit salad with cream because it's Ekadashi. That kind of mood. Oh, Ekadashi is coming. Krishna is coming. And Krishna has given a special kind of instruction, how I can serve him and please him on this day. So it's not about me and what I'm going to enjoy and how I can replace what I normally have with 10 extra courses to make up for the enjoyment that I'm lacking because I can't have pizza on Ekadashi. So let me add 5 more preps. This is not the purpose. Gurudev would laugh and think, oh, not that you should have 10 kilos of paneer and 10 kilos of fruit salad and this and that. Very little. Just enough to sustain your body and your mind, so that you don't have a headache and just fall asleep all day, but instead you can focus your energy on chanting, on serving Vaishnavas, on doing all things that are favorable for the awakening of devotion in the heart. So every activity that we do in bhakti, we should use the barometer or the thermometer, the test, the litmus test. Is this activity, am I applying the definition of bhakti to this activity? Will it bring about devotion for Krishna in my heart? Or am I only doing it as an empty ritual because I'm supposed to do it? What will the result be? If I'm only doing it as an empty ritual, I won't be able to increase in my devotion. So how to increase my devotion? How to increase my inclination to serve Krishna? Ekadashi, yes, Gurudev said that Ekadashi is like an alarm clock. Yes, Ekadashi is like an alarm clock. Every 2 weeks coming, ding, no. Wake up! What have you done to serve Krishna? Srila Gaura Govinda Mahārāja used to keep a tab, writing. Even before he came to Srila Prabhupada, he would write it down, even when he was young. What have I done for favorable for bhakti from the last Ekadashi to this Ekadashi? And he would keep those tabs and try to always increase his amount of seva, his amount of devotion. It's an alarm clock, a reminder. What have I done to serve Krishna for his happiness, his pleasure, and his benefit? If we have that kind of mindset, that kind of mood when approaching any of these aspects of bhakti, then we can actually truly be hopeful of our mood of devotion increasing within our hearts. Okay, so I just realized, wow, it's been going for a while. So if you want to know the things that are favorable for bhakti, look at this bhajan. See what Bhaktivedānta Thakur is mentioning here. So many beautiful things that are favorable. Just don't take shock on Ekadasi. Take it the next day. Yes, I've been requested to sing Radha Kunda Tata Kunjakutira today. Oh, that's the next page. Did you know that? Did someone ask for that? Sudevi asked for it. Okay. That's page 218. It's all about Vrindavan. So beautiful.
It's also favorable, the soft breeze, the conch, all those.
And it's telling us so many things that are favorable for bhakti, and especially keeping the mind absorbed in Krishna and serving Krishna. I'm going to read the translation. A vine-covered bower on the banks of Radhakund, Govardhan Hill, the shores of Jamuna, Kusum Sarovar, Manasa Ganga, the daughter of the Kalinda mountain, Yamuna, with her expansive waves, Bangshibat, Gokul, Dhir Samir, the trees, creepers and shrubs of Vrindavan, the birds and deer, a cooling breeze from the Malaya hills, peacocks and bumblebees, pastimes with the Murali flute, the Venu flute, the horn bugle, footprints in the dust of that land, banks of clouds, springtime, the crescent of the moon, the conch and the kartals. I know that all of these elements are most favorable to the divine couple's loving exchanges, and thus I consider them udipana. It means stimulation that invokes remembrance of their playful amorous pastimes. I will not go anywhere giving up such stimuli, for to abandon them is to give up my very life. Bhaktivedānta says, please listen, O Kana, your udipana is my very life and soul. Udipana is anything that can somehow remind us of Krishna or our Gurudev. I like that very simple one when Gurudev said, the beauty of a tree is how the wind blows through the leaves. And when you see the leaves moving, this is the beauty of the tree. So anytime you see a tree and you see the leaves moving, then you can remember Gurudev. This is stimulation to remember him and his teaching. Here, luckily, in the morning, sometimes in the evening, from here we can hear peacocks. Now Vrindavan, in the inner section there is a lot of people and a lot of traffic, so the peacocks are on the other side of Jamuna at Belban. But from here sometimes you can still hear them. And hearing a peacock, that sound can instantly remind us of Krishna. Seeing parrots, seeing monkeys, seeing cows, all of it can instantly remind us of Krishna. Jamuna River, Govardhan. So, Radha Kunda Tata Kunja Kutira. Page 218 by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Radha Kunda Tata Kunja Kutira Govardhana Parvata Yamuna Tira Radha Kunda Tata Kunja Kutira Govardhana Parvata Yamuna Tira Kusuma Sarovara Manasa Ganga Kusuma Sarovara Manasa Ganga Kalinda Nandini Vipulataranga Kalinda Nandini Vipulataranga Vanshivata Gokula Dhira Samira Vanshivata Gokula Dhira Samira Vrindavana Latikavaniya Vrindavana Taru Latikavaniya Khagamriga Pula Malaya Vata So Lila Vilaso Udipakamani Lila Vilaso Udipakamani Esava Chorato Kahi nahi Jau Esava Chorato Kahi nahi Jau Esava Sab chorato parano haram bhakti vinoda kahe shuno kano bhakti kahe shuno kano tu ayudipaka amaro parano tu ayudipaka amaro parano Radha Kunda Tata Kunja Putira Govardhano Parvato Jamunatira Radha Kunda Tata Govardhano Parvata Jamunatira Jaya Radha Kunda Jaya Shyama Kunda Jaya Radha Kunda Jaya Shyama Kunda Radha Kunda Jaya Shyama Kunda Radha Kunda Jaya Shyama Kunda Jaya Giri Raja Jaya Govardhana 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 Jaya Vrindavan Dham Jaya Vrindavan Dham Vrindavan Dham Jaya Vrindavan Dham Jaya Vrindavan Dham Vrindavan Dham Vrindavan Dham Jaya Vrindavan Dham Shri Vrindavan Dham ki Jai Dandavat Pranam. Welcome Usha Lakshman. We are live from Shri Vrindavan Dham. Oh, Anjali already said. Thank you. Anupama Madhuri Jori Hamare Shyam Shyama ki. No. Radhe Vraj Jana Manasukakari Radhe Shyam Shyam Shyam. Together, Radha and Krishna. And that is by our Śrīla Gurudev, Śrīla Bhaktivedānta, Nārāyaṇa Gosvāmī Mahārāja. Page 366 in our Śrī Gaudiya Gita Gucha, this bhajan treasure trove. If you do not have the book, then scroll to the most recent post of Jiva Pavana Prabhu. He posts the bhajans there. I see that Anjali, thank you very much, has posted a link for downloading Śrī Gaudiya Gita Gucha from Pure Bhakti Resources. So just scroll to the most recent post of Jiva Pavana Prabhu and you will find the bhajan there. Śrī Radhe Braj Jana Manasukakari Radhe Shyam Shyama Shyam Radhe Braj Jana Manasukakari Radhe Shyam Shyama Shyam 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 Radhe Braj Jana Manasukakari Radhe Shyam Shyama Shyam Radhe Braj Jana Manasukakari Radhe Shyam Shyama Shyam Mora Mukuta Makarakrita Kundala Kalavaijanti Mala Mor Mukuta Makarakrita Kundala Kalavaijanti Mala Charananupura Rasalo Radhe Shyama Shyama Shyam Radhe Charananupura Rasalo Radhe Shyama Shyama Shyam Radhe 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 Braj Jana Manasukakari Radhe Shyam Shyama Shyam Radhe Braj Jana Manasukakari Radhe Shyam Shyama Shyam Sundara Vadana Kamala Dallalochana Panki Chitta Manohari Sundara Vadana Kamala Dallalochana Panki Chitta Manohari Mohana Vangshi Bihari Radhe Shyam Shyama Shyam Radhe Mohana Vangshi Bihari Radhe Shyam Shyama Shyam Radhe Braj Jana Manasukakari Radhe Shyam Shyama Shyam Radhe Braj Jana Manasukakari Radhe Shyam Shyama Shyam Vrindavan mein धेनु चरावे गोपी जन मनोहारी Shri Govardhanadhari Radhe Shyam Shyama Shyam Radhe Shri Govardhanadhari Radhe Shyam Shyama Shyam Radhe 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 Braja Jana Mano Supakari Radhe Shyam Shyama Shyam Radhe Braja Jana Mano Supakari Radhe Shyam Shyama Shyam Radha Krishna Mili Avado Gaura Rupa Yogatari 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 Kirtana Dharma Prachari Radhe Shyam Shyama Shyam Radhe Kirtana Dharma Prachari Radhe Shyam Shyama Shyam Radhe 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 Braja Jana Mano Supakari Radhe Shyam Shyama Shyam Radhe Braja Jana Mano Supakari Radhe Shyam Shyama Shyam Tum bina mere aur na koi Naam Rupa Avatari Tum bina mere aur na koi Naam Rupa Avatari Charanan mein balihari Radhe Shyam Shyama Shyam Radhe Charanan mein balihari Radhe Shyam Shyama Shyam Radhe Nārāyaṇa balihari Radhe Shyam Shyama Shyam Radhe Nārāyaṇa balihari Radhe Shyam Shyama Shyam Radhe 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 Braja Jana Mano Supakari Radhe Shyam Shyama Shyam Radhe Braja Jana Mano Supakari Radhe Shyam Shyama Shyam Radhe Nārāyaṇa balihari Radhe Shyam Shyama Shyam Radhe Nārāyaṇa balihari Radhe Shyam Shyama Shyam Radhe 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 Shyam Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Prabhupada, 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 Jai Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Shri Srinitaya Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bo. Shri Gurudev ki Jai, Shri Prabhupada ki Jai, Rupanuga Gauri Guru Varga ki Jai, Patik Pavana Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki Jai, Prem Purushottam Shachinandana Gaura Hari ki Jai, Radha Vino Bihari Ju ki Jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai, Nitai Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bo. Dandava Pranam, all Vaishnavas. Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadale Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namah Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Nama Vishnupadaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Nārāyaṇa Namine Nama Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhaktivedānta Swami Namine Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya evacha Patitanang Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangam Langayate Giring Yat Kripatamaham Vande Shri Gurung Dinatarinam. First of all, I offer my Dandava Pranam thousands of times in the dust of the lotus feet of our beloved Gurudev, Nitya Lila Pravishtam Vishnupad, Ashto Tarashata Shri Śrīmad Śrī Bhaktivedānta Nārāyaṇa Gosvāmī Mahārāja. In the same thousands of Dandava Pranam in the dust of the lotus feet of Nitya Lila Pravishtam Vishnupad, Ashto Tarashata Shri Śrīmad Śrī Bhaktivedānta Swami Śrīla Prabhupada, and to all of our Rupanuga Gauriya Guru Varga, and to all Vaishnavas past, present, and future, including all of you who are present with us today, I offer my Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam, dear Vaishnavas. Radhe Radhe, Radhe Sham.
Radhe Sham. Can you open the door? Hare Krishna. So I wanted to continue just for a few minutes with the Upadeshavali of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada. Remember, tomorrow we are going to start earlier, 2 hours earlier, out in a very secret location, but out on Parikrama. So we look forward to being with all of you then. We're starting at 3 o'clock p.m. Vrindavan time. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada. Rolling in this, do this for a few minutes because time is already getting late. And I wanted to finish from what he was speaking on the previous time. It goes into a different mood. Each one actually is a different mood. He says, serving the Brajavasis who felt great separation from Krishna when he left Vraj to reside in Mathura is our supreme constitutional occupation. When Krishna left Vrindavan and went to Mathura, he left all of Braj, all of his nearest and dearest, in a tsunami of desperate separation. All of his parents, Yashoda, Nanda Baba, and all of the parental figures, all of his cowherd boyfriends, all of his cows, all of his trees, Jamuna, all of his insects and bumblebees and peacocks and parrots, all of the residents of Vrindavan, and especially the Braja Gopis, and especially Srimati Radhika. He left them in a situation of deep and desperate separation. And Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada,
is saying that serving the Brajabasis who felt great separation from Krishna when he left Braj for Mathura is our supreme constitutional occupation. I don't understand how, if we are also residents and denizens of Vrindavan, how we're all going to be able to serve them at that time if we are also experiencing that kind of desperate separation. But this is something to realize through one's bhajan. Srila Gurudev has spoken on this subject, and we hear about it when we go to Uddhav Kyari, how the gopis are residing there in desperate separation. Uddhava is telling them, well, you should give your, keep Krishna in your heart. And they said, how many hearts do you think we have? 10, 20 hearts? We only have one, and Krishna stole it a long time ago. So how can we give our heart? He's already stolen it. But in that desperate state of separation, for us to somehow develop a mood, I want to use this word empathy, where we feel for their desperate separation, then we will not be awake to the material world. We will be awake to their world. Just like Mangal Arti time. Mangal Arti time means being awake to the end of the night. This is the separation of Radha and Krishna. If we're asleep to that, it means that we're really in deep, dark ignorance. So our Param Gurudev Śrīla Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Gosvāmī Mahārāja says, Tomar nidrai jiva nidrit dharai tava jagarani vishva jagarita hoy. That now is the time for you to wake up, O jiva. It is the end of the night. Awake to your good fortune. What is good fortune? Awake to being conscious of Krishna. Awake to being conscious of their moods of separation. If one moment of separation for them feels like millions of yugas, and all of the universe feels vacant in the absence of Krishna. Shunyayitam jagat sarvam govinda virahename. Then imagine the waves of pain of separation that they're experiencing. If we are awake to that, then we can serve them in that mood. If we're not awake to that, then we will only be serving our mode of ignorance, our stupor in Maya. So for those who are in sadhak bhav, in the mood of a practitioner of bhakti, we practice being awake to that. And within siddha, within perfection also, we will be awake to that, to the moods of Radhika and Krishna's separation. And here all of the Brajabasis who felt a great separation from Krishna, to serve them in that mood of deep separation. This is our supreme constitutional occupation. There's so much more to speak on that, but I'm not qualified to do so. I would have to read from our Srila Gurudev, Srila Bhaktivedānta, Nārāyaṇa Gosvāmī Mahārāja, or any of our acharyas. If we desire to follow an auspicious course in life, then disregarding the theories of even countless people, we should hear instructions only from a transcendental source. Theories means all concoctions and opinions. Opinions, they say, are like noses, everyone has them. Srila Prabhupada, A.C. Bhaktivedānta Swami Prabhupada, he asked the question. He said, everyone has opinions. Millions and millions of opinions are in this world, from millions and billions of people. Whose opinion are we going to listen to? Everyone's? If you listen to everyone's opinion, and those opinions are conflicting, then you will be a right mess. It'll create some kind of situation where you're being pulled in many different directions, and you will have no foundation for anything. Whose opinions will you listen to? He says, so we should listen to the opinion of Krishna and his pure devotees. We should listen to their opinion, the opinions of Guru, Sadhu, Shastra, Hari Guru, Vaishnava. We listen to those opinions. And if we have the superior thing, then why take the lesser thing? If we know we have that. Vaishnavas never say, I think, I feel, I believe, maybe this, or speculate. He said if a Vaishnava is ever asked any question, immediately they quote Shastra. Vaishnavas are Shastra Chakshushaha. They see through the eyes of Shastra. These days we find that many people in the name of Vaishnavism are, what I'm going to say, exception Chakshushaha. They try to find any exception to the rule and then amplify that exception. But to do that is very dangerous. We follow the rules and the exception may be there, yes, but we follow the rules. You follow the scientific principle. It might be that you accidentally do something and you arrive at the same result, but the chances of that are slim, very slim. There's a general way in which Krishna gives his mercy in this world, and that is through Shri Guru. It might be sometimes, extremely, very rarely, that Krishna himself will give it. But that's not the general way. So if you're just counting on that, then you can wait a very, very long time. But generally his mercy takes form and comes in as Shri Guru into one's life. So taking the exception to the rule is a very risky business. There's no spiritual science behind it. So Vaishnavas are Shastra Chakshushaha. So disregarding the theories of even countless people. Now in this material world there are so many unlimited theories and so many coming from sources which are mundane. And if we accept those theories in our life, and I'm talking about all sorts of things, everything, that will only serve to distract us from what our soul requires to live. All of those other ideas and theories must, in essence, die within us so that we can live according to the nature of our Atma, which is to love and serve Krishna. And so Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada is giving this instruction from his own personal experience. He learned so much of so many different subject matters. And his Guru Mahārāja, Srila Gaurkishora Babaji Maharaj, told him, everything that you have learned, take it and throw it in the ocean and come back. Disregarding the theories of even countless people, we should hear instructions only from a transcendental source. Instructions meaning what is coming through those personalities. It's not that we shouldn't hear Śrīmad Bhagavatam class when the other devotees are giving it. No, I won't listen to you, I'll only listen to Gurudev. Shri Guru is instructing that devotees should sit for class and that they should hear and share with each other. And when the opportunity presents itself to hear from the pure devotee, then we must also take advantage of that. But it's not that in between that time, then we don't also hear. If it is coming from Shastra, if it is in line with and supported with evidence from Shastra, then that is favorable or beneficial, as long as whoever is speaking is not complete nonsense. So we should hear instructions from transcendental source. And I'm going to reiterate again, I asked Srila Gurudev, what benefit will others get by hearing us speak and sing about Krishna? Our hearts are full of so many anarthas. And he said, oh, some Shakti will be there because you are under guidance. So if one is following the order of Guru, if one is endeavoring to follow that instruction, then Guru can work through them and do something. Gurudev had so many stand up and speak. And then as they were speaking, he would make micro adjustments to their conceptions. And all of us would learn as he was making those adjustments. So through them, he was speaking. And then he would make adjustments. It's not that he wasn't an active principle. So if we look at it from that perspective, it doesn't mean that we should never hear anything from anyone and only hear from a pure devotee. If a pure devotee is telling someone, you stand up and speak, then all of the devotees who are present are also meant to hear that, because he's surcharging that with his potency. But hearing instructions only from a transcendental source means that whoever is speaking should not create, concoct, add, subtract, twist, or anything. They should present it, as our Srila Prabhupada said, as it is. And the more bhakti one has, the more as it is, it will be. So for the pure devotee, like Baladev Vidyabhushan, he heard directly from Govinda Dev himself, and he wrote what Govinda was speaking, Govinda Bhashya, the commentary on Vedanta Sutra. Our Srila Prabhupada said, what Krishna is dictating, he is writing. So that is direct transmittance. That is the purest, due to pure devotion. Therefore, it is 100% as it is. It is possible for any conditioned soul, and very possible for any conditioned soul, to naturally...
Everything's okay. Everyone's there.
Jai. Hare Krishna. Sorry about that. I looked down and it was all bleached out. Back. So it is essential that we hear from the pure devotees. By hearing from pure devotees and being under their guidance, the moods that are in their heart will purify us of our mundane consciousness. We hear this again and again through all of our shastras. What Rupa Goswami is saying in Upadeshamrita, Tishtham Braje Tad Anuragi Jananugami. Reside in Braj under the guidance of a Brajrasik Bhavuk Anuragi, associate of the Lord, eternal associate of the Lord. And serve them, hear from them, and do all of the activities of bhakti under their guidance. Tannama rupa charitari sikittananu smrityo kramena rasana manasin niyojya tishtham brajetad anuragi jananugami kalam nayad akilam ityupadesha saram. To be under their guidance and serving them and learning from them. But we should understand that whatever association we take should increase our faith in the teachings of our Gurudev. If it is taking us away from that, then it won't be favorable for our bhakti. Srila Gurudev explained that even if any other Mahabhagavat is speaking something slightly different from your Guru, you must reconcile it immediately. Otherwise, it can go in like a seed of doubt. Very quickly, it will grow into a big tree and it can destroy everything. So this is an important, essential instruction. Even if we're hearing from other senior Vaishnavas, the instructions, the teachings we hear from them should serve to increase our nishta in the lotus feet of our Gurudev. If they are failing to do that for us, or if we are unable to reconcile, then we must mind our own bhakti, meaning we must do what is favorable for the awakening and development of our bhakti. Anukulyasya sankalpa. If they are helping to create doubt in my Gurudev, then this may not be favorable for me at this time. Maybe later, at another time, I might have the capacity to reconcile, but until that time, I should be very, very careful. We are like babies. We require a particular kind of nourishment. We can be compared to dogs, as Bhaktivedānta Thakur is saying, Sarvasya Tomar, Sarvasva Tomar Charane Sapya Porechi Tomar Ghare Tumit Thakur Tomar Kuku Boliya Jano Homore. If anyone is affectionate and favorable to you, my Gurudev, then I will gladly invite them and I will be happy to see them. But if someone is going against you, then I will bark very loudly and keep them at a distance. Means I will repeat the teachings of my Gurudev. As Gurudev said, how we should be. He said, I don't want little kittens, mew, 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 mew. No. I want all my children, my daughters and sons, to be bold like lions, jumping on the heads of the elephant of aparad, apasiddhanta, sahajya, all kinds of mayavad, all kinds of teachings which are unfavorable to bhakti. It means anything which goes against the teachings of my transcendental Gurudev, I should roar very loudly. Our Param Gurudev Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj gave this example, and he would tolerate none of it. If any of his godbrothers would twist or go against the teachings of his own Guru Maharaj, very heavily, he would establish the truth. And if they continued to do so, then he would say, okay, let's take it to court. I will prove everything in court. And then they would shape up very quickly, because people don't like legal stuff. What is the time? Oh, it's getting very late. So as much as possible, we should try to hear instructions from a transcendental source. By them, by hearing from them. Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chitte Te Koriya Aikya. By hearing the words emanating from the mouth of Sri Gurudev. And that can mean Diksha and Shiksha Gurus. But hearing directly from the mouth of any transcendental personality who is not bound by the four defects of this material world. Illusion, making mistakes, imperfect senses, and cheating others. They're not bound by this. They're able to control all of their senses. Their mind is exclusively focused on their loving service to Krishna. When you hear from them, it has the effect of purifying the consciousness. Guru Mukha Padma Vakya, what is emanating from the lotus mouth of Sri Guru? Chitte Te Koriya Aikya. This will purify my consciousness. Ar nak kori ho mane asha. I have no other hope or desire than this, to hear this kind of harikatha. What will purify my mind and purify my consciousness? By being in the association of pure devotees. By hearing Rasalila Katha from those kinds of persons. All of the knots and of lust and material desire that are in the heart, this hridrogam, this disease of the heart, can be cut out by hearing from the pure devotee. And in the absence of that, then we can read their transcendental literatures, their commentaries, their conceptions, or hear according to their moods, their teachings. What is the use of me giving my own opinion? What benefit will it give? Well, I think that. For example, when we hear about Ekalavya, our Srila Gurudev, he said no real guru would name their disciple Ekalavya. Why? Because Ekalavya was the personification of not following Guru. Ekalavya was an expert archer, and he was becoming more expert than Arjuna. Why? He made a murti of Dronacharya and practiced in front of this murti of Dronacharya. But Dronacharya never accepted him as his disciple. Dronacharya promised Arjuna, you will be the best archer in the world. Arjuna witnessed something, how expert Ekalavya was at archery, and he looked toward Dronacharya. Dronacharya didn't accept Ekalavya, although Ekalavya says he's my guru. Guru-disciple relationship is mutual. Guru accepts disciple, disciple accepts guru. To try to jump beyond that and make your own or manufacture your own process, this does not work. It's not compatible. So what happened? Dronacharya told him, you've taken something from me that does not belong to you. I never gave permission for this, so now you have to give me payment. It doesn't mean I'm accepting you as a disciple, but you have to give me payment. What was Ekalavya's mood? He was against the devotees of Krishna. So Dronacharya asked him for the thumb. It's very difficult to shoot arrows when you're missing a thumb, to make his shooting less. The point is, making one's own process but not following the proper process, this can actually be detrimental. So following the process properly, taking instruction from the transcendental source and following under their guidance, under their guidelines, this will be favorable for bhakti. And by following their instructions and following the process, then we will attain the proper result. So, there's a whole another subject that comes along with the Ekalavya concept, but we're not going to go there. So now it's getting late here, and we have so much to do for tomorrow. We're going to go out on location. Many different beautiful places we will visit with you. We will start at 3 o'clock p.m. Vrindavan time. That is 2 hours earlier than our usual program start time. So we look forward to being with all of you out in Braj. Okay. Srila Gurudev ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Rupanuga Gauriya Guru Varga ki jai. Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bo. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Gaura Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Gaura Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Go Jai Gurudev, 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 Jai Gurudev, Jai Gurudev, 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 Go Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jai Prabhupada. Śrī Dāmodara ki jai, Śrī Prabhupada ki jai, Gurupada Gauriya Guru Varga ki jai, Patit Pavan Śrī Nityananda Prabhu ki jai, Prem Purushottam Shachinandana Gaura Hari ki jai, Radha Vinoda Bihari ki jai, Radha Ramana ki jai, Giriraj Mahārāja ki jai, Harinam Sankirtana ki jai, Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Nitai Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari. Govinda For being with us today on this beautiful Ekadashi day and giving us the opportunity to remember the beautiful teachings of our Gurudev and Guru Varga. We would like to express our indebtedness to each and every one of you for daily giving us the opportunity to do our Guru Seva, which is our life and soul. We look forward to being with all of you tomorrow out in Braj, starting 2 hours earlier than usual, 3 o'clock p.m. Vrindavan time. Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam, dear Vaishnavas.
Radhe
Radhe Radhe
Bihari Ju ki
Jai.
Sachinandana Gaura Hari ki
Jai. Hastamanyana Chivariyam Udamani.
कल मिलेंगे
Radhe Radhe.